Oh hey, didn't see you there. Hey Lonely Watchers! Yes, it's me, Lonely Fubuki. I am back. And sweatier than ever. I forgot how hot this attic is. Nevertheless, I am back to making videos, and before we get to the video topic, I'm going to address a few things. First of all, if you could please share this video with anyone you know who's interested in Yokai Watch or in any servers you're in, that would be greatly appreciated, because I kind of took a break and the algorithm probably hates me after that. I've still been gaining subscribers though, so thank you all for that. But yeah, make sure to share this video to get this video on. As for the reason for my break, kind of life stuff and lack of motivation, but now I'm back here, I'm back in the chair, and this is the second time I'm recording this video because this first time I didn't like how it turned out. And since that video, since I filmed the video the first time, I've done my Yokai Watch duty. See, around January I got a 3DS. I'm not sure if I stopped making videos by then or if I had made videos, I mentioned it in it, but yeah, I got a 3DS. And I got all three Yokai Watch games. Yokai Watch 1, Yokai Watch 2, Fleshy Souls version of course, and a digital version of Yokai Watch 3 because I'm not paying those prices, are you kidding me? I mean, I had to before the shop shut down. Fun fact, I got my 3DS like a week or two before the shutdown closure of the Nintendo 3DS and Wii U shops. So yeah, that was great because the prices went way up and right after that. And now I can get Yokai Watch 3 and Busters. Well, I already got Yokai Watch 3 and I beat it and I loved it, but now I can get Busters and I'll be done with Yokai Watch games that were localized. Of course, I'll have Sangokushi, Busters 2, Gakuen left. But yeah, I'm nearing the end. Oh, also, I guess Just Dance 2016, I always forget about that one. Anyway, putting this thing aside, I don't care about the past right now, I care about the future. Yokai Watch Future started out grim in 2020, 2021. It was looking bad, but now things are starting to perk out. And anime is doing surprisingly well. The mobile port of the first game has sold quite a few copies, way more so than Yokai Watch 4 ever did, or Yokai Gakuen, and Yokai Watch 1 for the Nintendo Switch combined. So yeah, I'll say they're doing pretty decently right now. The new toy is selling good. We just got a third wave, and now we're even getting more manga this year, including some that's being localized. I know, right? Yokai Watch is actually looking up for once. I mean, it's still kind of down in the dead dumps, I would say. But it's actually looking promising, and it looks like we're going to be getting stuff in the future. Although not as big budget as before. Probably not a lot of it, if any of it, being localized. But yeah, it looks like we're still getting a good chunk of Yokai Watch support. And things are turning up for the series, finally. Even though the fan base is starting to dwindle, Level 5 is going strong with one of their most beloved properties. Now, a strange thing I've noticed, back when I wrote this video, which was like a few months ago, Yokai Watch 5. Nobody's talking about Yokai Watch 4 getting localized. It seems like most of the fan base has pretty much universally agreed that it's not happening. Well, except for this guy. But Yokai Watch 5 seems to be what a lot of people are talking about. I don't think it's super likely, at least not for the time being. It's probably going to be a while until we get something like that because the Yokai series is just starting to get back running. But it's a very interesting thing to think about, especially with how the recent Yokai Watch games have been doing and how much of a different style and tone everything's been taking. What a fifth game would possibly look like. So I was just scrolling on my phone the other day and I found this idea on the Fantendo wiki for Yokai Watch 5, and this one I think is plausible. Like, there are a few other ones out there, like ones that make this like grand new game or whatever that's in a like very different style, or there's some that say it'll be on the 3DS, which I'm not too sure about that. Yeah, Level 5 better squirt out a new 3DS Yokai Watch game by March of 2023. They don't have much time left. But yeah, this one seems to be taking a lot of cues from 4, but also like all the good cues, but also like a lot of cues from like 2 and 3, like good ones. Well, mostly good. We don't talk about 2. So today I just wanted to run through this idea by you guys real quick, see you know, and bounce off some of my ideas and some of my thoughts on it. And also what you guys think. Link to it, it'll be in the description, as well as a bunch of other Nintendo ones that I found that I didn't want to delve into because this video is already going to be pretty long. But it's good as like a good getting back into the swing of things video, just like Yokai Watch. Speaking of, not too long ago, or coming up, depending on when this comes out, will be the 1-year anniversary of me coming back to YouTube. So thank you guys for that so much. I mean, the 1-year anniversary since I made my first upload. I mean, well, not my first upload on the channel, but like the first one of my return to memes, the Mario one. Thank you guys. Now, let's get to it. Okay, this one is called Yokai Watch 5, Tales from the Great Beyond Yon. Here's its logo. I'll put it up on screen. Pretty simplistic. I guess the creator didn't have many like graphical abilities, but that's okay. I don't either. Published by Level 5, developed by Level 5, coming out on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5, releasing on July 2nd of 2021. Already off to an unlikely start. Role-playing game and being rated 0A, just like every other game. Except Gakuen. We don't talk about Gakuen. Yokai Watch 5, Tales from the Great Beyond Yon, or simply titled Yokai Watch 5, is a role-playing game for the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5, and the 5th main series game in the Yokai Watch franchise. So, PlayStation 4 and 5... Already, the PlayStation 4 versions of the Yokai Watch game, Yokai Gakuen and Yokai Watch 4, those sold not so good. I mean, I don't think the primary audience is on PlayStation 4. I think that's the problem. I don't have a problem with getting this into more people's hands, or I don't have a problem with like, Nintendo exclusivity. This should be a Nintendo thing only. It's more of a, you know, an issue of a warehouse full of unsold copies. So I think probably limiting it to Nintendo Switch, and if it does well, then doing a PS4 release like they did with Yokai Watch 4. They waited until the DLC came out and then they released it. Although Yokai Watch 4 didn't really sell that good on Nintendo Switch, so the fact they released it on PlayStation 4 too. Kind of wonky, but like saving that would probably be a good idea for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. If the Nintendo Switch version sells really well, because again, they don't want to like undersell, because the prime audience is on Nintendo system. Prime audience is like kids. In the West, it's like kids that grew up with it, but that's not the target demographic. Over there, it's like, you know, young kids, like 8, 9, 10, 11. So putting it on a PS4 wouldn't make sense. A lot more kids have a Nintendo system. Nintendo is aimed a lot more towards kids. And just putting it on PlayStation 4 would be odd. Plus, removing the portability from Yokai Watch is like a weird step, and I don't really like it. It was released in July 2nd, 2021 for the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5 in Japan. In December 21, it will get the Busters X update, which adds a whole new mode and explorable area. So far, no Western localization is confirmed to be in the works. This, I have a problem with. Okay, obviously no Western localization is probably going to happen, but limiting Busters again would be severely underselling it, and doing the same approach, like adding a new area. Even if they do this, I'd hope it'd be like a brand new area. Like last time we got Blossom Heights, and that was all cool. But I hope we get something new, especially because Yokai Watch 4 was like the 4th time we retread, you know, going through Springdale. So adding a new location from Springdale is not going to carry that much weight. Or like bring up a location that hasn't been used in like a long time, like New Yokai City or something like that. Maybe it would add Harrisville or whatever. Oh wait, we'll get back to that. But limiting Busters to be like this new thing, like as a new DLC thing later on, that just irks me so much. Even if it's free DLC, I want this game to be finished at launch if it does happen, right? So, and Busters X, it's kind of a generic title, but what are you gonna do? It's not like you can really, because the other Busters game, the Busters modes were like, you know, very small things. Yokai Watch 4 was really big, but that's because it was more so a lot of grinding and not much because of, you know, the game being, you know, good and long. Because they had like a separate level up system that was different from the main game. So even if you had like a full 120 team like I did, You'd still have to grind up all the way from 0 with this stupid new system with the Oni cones and whatever. So I hope it's nothing like that. I hope it's something like Busters, you know, and Busters T in Yokai Watch 2 and 3. Both those modes were like phenomenal, like little extra things. I hope it's more like that as opposed to how, you know, Yokai Watch Busters, per Busters are structured, but knowing level 5, it's probably not going to be like that. But either way, I just want to see a revamped Busters mode in the style of the first two, and nothing that's like overly grindy like the third one was. Yokai Watch 5 follows in the footsteps of the previous entry, Yokai Watch 4. One of the things that has been drastically changed from the fourth game is that a revamped battle system, more in line with Yokai Watch 3 and the Dynasty Warrior series. Let's read on. This sounds interesting. Okay, so I guess we don't get details of that until later. Blurb: travel back to the iconic world of Yokai Watch 2 and 3 with Whisper and Yabanya. So, does that mean Harrisville and St. Peanutsburg? Because that would be cool. I don't know how they would implement them all together, but that would be cool. Besides like a stupid time traveling thing or whatever, because we've been getting way too much time travel in the recent entries. I hope that's not here, and I hope that's not the case. But I think old locations like that would be cool. But you know, Japan didn't really like the whole American angle, and honestly, I think in Yokai Watch 3 they didn't handle it the best. So I don't see like a lot of returning characters like that and stuff. Like if St. Peanutsburg returns, I'm sure like Buck will, but I'm pretty sure Haley isn't gonna return. There aren't gonna be a lot of American yokai probably. It's just like a new area to explore or whatever. Maybe that's, you know, for Busters X or whatever it's called. Maybe that'll be it. But I don't see it being like a major component to the plot because, you know, Japan didn't really like that angle of the Yokai Watch 3. So I don't see them really rehashing that, especially because this is targeted towards the Japanese audience. Plot: Lord Manama creates a rift in the yokai realm space, and time will bend and collapse upon itself. The human world and yokai world will combine into one whole universe. To prevent this, Katie, or Fumi, travels back to Sakura and reunites with his grandfather Keizo to prevent Enma from accidentally destroying the universe. Okay, so I always play as Nate in the games. I never played as Fumi, is Keizo Katie's grandfather, like when you play as her? Or is Nathaniel Katie's grandfather? Like, do they keep the same family and stuff? If so, that's pretty weird. That's why I always like to do the canon playthrough, because then it's not very confusing. But yeah, just wondering about that. For any of you who played, let me know. The idea of like the yokai and human worlds fusing, that's an interesting idea for a plot. I feel like we're going for the scapegoat of like Lord Enma causes this whole thing all along kind of thing, like they did in 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Like, Enma is always like the center point. Enma is always where these conflicts start and where like the conflict of the game starts. And I don't really like that angle. Like, he's a pretty bad leader if you think about it, but going for that angle another time is lazy. I feel like we could have like another villain be the reason, like, Enma isn't a villain, but I feel like we could have somebody else like be the reason the yokai and human worlds merge. I'm having trouble like thinking of what that would be, but having Enma just ruin everything again as a cop-out. Also, the idea that you can play as Katie now kind of confirmed my theory of what's her name not being part of it, Haley not being part of the story. Even though she's one of the best characters, Japan didn't like her that well, and that's kind of why, like in preceding games like Yokai Watch 4, she didn't really get much of a spotlight. She was reduced to like a battle gimmick since they didn't want to really get rid of the character. But a lot of people didn't like her, so they didn't want to also, you know, completely toss her off, you know. So this lends out that theory to me even more. Features: Yokai Watch 5 uses the same graphical engine as Yokai Watch 4, making the camera even more free-moving, with sporting an updated user interface. While players still search for yokai in some places, they can jump to reach high areas and run with unlimited stamina. So unlimited stamina returning is great, and the graphical style in Yokai Watch 4 and the engine is amazing. It looks like just like an anime most of the time. So bringing that back I am all for it. It looks so good. It's like the best looking Yokai Watch game, objectively, right? I mean, not like it has a lot of competition. The other games are 3DS games, and Gakuen went for this very cheap, chibi style. Jumping to reach high areas, though, I'm wondering, is this like some kind of ability upgrade? Like, I'm thinking of like, you know, in Xenoblade Chronicles, like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the field skills that they employed. Like you can train like certain blades and like there are levels of mastery in certain elements and things. There are certain skills, and that would let you like perform different things. Like it would let you burn things, or it would let you like remove like a wall of wind, or it would let you jump like really high to a high location. I'm thinking, is it something like that? Because something like that would be really cool if you could like train your yokai in like certain skills in which they could, you know, help you get to higher areas. Or they could help you run faster, or something like that. Doing something like that would kind of slow the gameplay down a little bit, but it would also be really, really cool. And something that would work well in an exploratory game, you know, more like how the fourth one was. In the fourth game, you could really jump in, you could move the camera everywhere and explore these environments to the fullest. So, like, taking that idea, making it more open world, and, you know, making it something, again, like Xenoblade 2 was. I think this has a lot of potential, and that's something I've thought about before, but didn't think like anybody else would be on the same page about that. So shout out to this person for being awesome. Okay. Battle system. Okay, Yokai Watch 5 introduced a brand new battle system that combines the elements of Yokai Watch 3's battle system, like the Tactics board, now named the Tactics wheel, and Ultimate minigames, and mixes it with a few elements from the Dynasty Warrior series of games, and it has items that are contained across the map, as well as having a full-on hack-and-slash gameplay during boss battles, like the fourth game. The main character can move around freely during the battle and help out the fight as well, but unlike the fourth game, emphasis is more so put on your yokai inside the tactics board, which is now the tactics wheel. Okay, this sounds very concerning. So it sounds like the tactics board, so you're going to be managing your team and like tactic battles with items on the field. I'm assuming like they mean something like in Yokai Watch 3 there's some offensive items you could pick up, or some type of like healing items or stat boosts would be thrown onto the grid. I'm assuming they mean something like that, but the way they described it makes it seem like it's something different, and having hack and slash gameplay. Now there's two ways I can interpret that. It's like, one, it means like a hack and slash gameplay at the same time as like you're doing the tactics board, which would be like way too much to handle, especially for little kids. Or it means like only in boss battles you have the hack and slash gameplay, which wouldn't make any sense. I don't know why it would be implemented for something like that. And they say at the same time, like even in Yokai Watch 3, like the Dream Link functions, like the Yokai Blaster, like that pauses the gameplay and you use that on the opposing yokai. Having all that at once seems a little overwhelming, and the idea of the tactics board being the tactics wheel, like I don't know what that would even be. I'm thinking like a wheel in like Yokai Watch 2, but you can move like the positions of the yokai, like you can switch two positions of the yokai, not like rotating the wheel, but like moving the yokai themselves and rotating the wheel. I'm not exactly sure, but this doesn't sound good. I'd be more down for like something like the tactics board, or even something like the Yokai Watch 1 battle system, because as we've seen with Yokai Watch 1 for Nintendo Switch, it was actually like a really good system. It like translated well to single screen play. But the tactics board, that would be like interesting to do. It would probably work better with touch controls, but the Switch has touch controls, so we don't have to worry about that. And of course, button controls if you so prefer. Maybe even like gyroscope controls like for that. But I feel like doing something more in line with 3, and kind of moving away from the mistakes of 4 with that battle system. But the mistakes of that one was more so due to the mashiness of everything and the con system and everything. So I'd like to see something more in line with 3's grid. The befriending system is much more like past games before Yokai Watch 4, as it is much more luck-based system, implying that Yokai Watch 4 is an extremely luck-based. Anyway, returning from the Yokai Watch Buster series is the Chance Wheel, which puts a chance at adding a new yokai to the medallion entirely on a roulette wheel. That's nice if it's an extra addition, like another way, but I'd prefer the food system from the first 3 games. Admittedly, I haven't played Buster's that much, but if it's anything like in Buster's Tea, because I played a decent chunk of that, that sounds kind of awful, and I would not like the return of something like that. Like, just bring back the favorite food mechanic. Make sure there's forbidden fruit in the game to get some way, and that'll pretty much cover it for a good battle system. Development. The game was announced at the Level 5 Vision event in 2020 and was later given screenshots of the Korogoro magazine. During the Tokyo Game Show 2020, a full gameplay trailer was to be shown to the public and revealed that Kumataro and St. Peanutsburg from Yokai Watch 2 and Yokai Watch 3 respectively will be returning, as well as Old Sakura and the new battle system. Unlike the 4th game, the protagonists will be confirmed to be reduced to Keita and Fumi, depending on preference. According to Level 5 CEO Aki Norikino, this was done to bring the franchise back to the basics and attract the fans of the first 2 games. It was announced in March of 2021 that no confirmed console. It was here that we would see a tidbit of plot was revealed, and that the game will link to Yokai Watch 4 and Yokai Watch Busters 3. Presumably another fake game this person wrote a thing about, which I didn't get to see. I probably have to read that to know like what Buster's X is going to be like, because usually that's what it is. Buster's was linked with Yokai Watch 2 Busters 2 was like Busters 2, something like that. So, let's dive into this paragraph. So again, confirming my fears that like areas from the previous games would be returning. That's nice. But, you know, the fact that it isn't DLC, that kind of worries me about the reception of this game, because, you know, the Japanese didn't really like Yokai Watch 3 that much. Or at least they had, like, big, over-American emphasis. So if they can remove that for St. Peanutsburg and not make that, like, as big of a deal, I feel like it can still do well. But, you know, that immediately has a negative connotation, even if they do it well. So again, limiting to Katie and Fumi, saying they're trying to bring the series back to its roots, which I feel like is something they really need to do, especially because some of the recent games that were like really experimental haven't been doing well, and that's not what a lot of people want, so you might as well just bring back the formula that's been working for many, many games. But I feel like, you know, the complicated stuff that this person is listing here is like kind of going to drive a lot of people away from it, and, you know, and get rid of the simplicity, especially because, you know, the series is for kids, you know, like really young kids too. Delays. Oh boy, they even added delays. This thing was well thought out. Woo! It was announced in a Korokoro magazine segment that Yokai Watch 5 will be delayed to May of 2021, and that functionality with Yokai Watch 4 and Yokai Watch Busters 3 was cut from the main game to maintain that healthy amount of content. I'm assuming like that makes it imply that like it was something big that they scrapped. Because, like, in this previous series links, it would just give you, like, an item so that you could battle a certain yokai. Like, in Yokai Watch 3, you could link up any version of 2 or Busters to get, like, special yokai that you could battle for. It would give you a special item, and then you could use that to battle for a certain yokai. So, you know, if it's something more than that, I feel like it could, like, be overwhelming, especially if this game is going to be big like 4 was. That game was, like, 60 hours just for the main campaign. Even though the previous games were, like, 15 hours for 1, 15 hours for 2, probably, like, 35 hours for 3. However, a few days after the Korokoro article, a new video went up on the Level 5's Japanese YouTube channel showing that the game was drastically increased in terms of the graphics and gameplay. It was also confirmed that protagonists could change outfits depending on the day of the week and customize their hair. And even use the brand new cloth guide to randomly get articles of clothing. Outfits shown that were Yokai Watch 3's outfit for Keita, Keizo's outfit, and a traditional Japanese kimono, and even a Jibanyan onesie. I am stoked! And this doesn't even exist. So the graphics being improved, that's amazing, because if they're going off Yokai Watch 4's engine, it probably already looks stunning. So making them improve even more would be even better. And the fact that you can change clothes, this is something I've always wanted in a Yokai Watch game. They kind of teased it with spoiler alert. When you beat Yokai Watch 4, you can change Toma or Natsume into their school outfits, or Keita into his American outfit. But like having like a full customization like that would be really cool, especially like a Camino or Jibanyan onesie. I'd adore that. There are many more clothing options they could do. Maybe they could make it like an Originion thing where like you get them for quests or you find them in like in item boxes or whatever. This sounds amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I hope that we get like a ton of good customization options for this. The ones they listed are already pretty stellar. Maybe we could get like what if we got like Akinori's outfit or Kengo Benimato's armor? Or what else? Like other traditional Japanese outfits besides the kimono. Maybe like even Blizzario's kimono. We could get outfits from like other characters in the series. We could get like school uniform. We could get Toma's school uniform and Natsume's school uniform maybe. I'm thinking like my mind is racing like out of all the possibilities we could get here. But yeah, keep it up. Maybe even like NPCs. Like, what if we got Lucas's outfit or Buck's outfit? Oh man, that would be so cool, because we're already getting Keizo's outfit or Nathaniel's outfit. Oh man, I love this game. Why can't it exist? In May of 2021, the game was delayed once again. This time, the console was confirmed to be on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5. The game was also set to be an in-store release on July 2nd, 2019. And the reason for the secondary delay was 2021, they meant. And the reason for the delay was to fine-tune the user experience and to create a better flow. It was also so that the developers could have a healthy work-life cycle. Great that they were doing that. Delays always suck, but like Yokai Watch 4 was like under so much dev crunch. There were so many glitches day one, and there were like unfinished parts, and the game was so grindy. And there were a ton of yokai that were missing. I'm glad that they would delay it in this fictional universe. I keep getting myself immersed like this is actually a real game, but no, it's not. But this is all the direction. I'd love for them to like do more delays to like fine tune everything. Even though delays suck, you need them sometimes, you know. Reception. The game sold 300,000 copies in its first week on sale in Japan. That's a big increase from Yokai Watch 4, however. This could be because of the two added platforms, being the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. It managed to stay at the #1 spot for Nintendo Switch games for a whole month before being taken over drastically by Mario Kart Infinite, so another fake game in this universe. Hard. But 300,000 copies would actually be pretty good, especially because that's double what Yokai Watch 4 sold, and like 100 times what Yokai Goblin sold. That's incredible. And I think the mobile app sold around like 280k, so in its lifetime. So selling out in the first week, that's actually really promising, especially because a lot of series, didn't do that as much. I mean, it's nowhere near Yokai Watch 2's 6 million units sold, but it's still impressive, especially because of how much Yokai Watch has dwindled over there. Editions. Oh boy. Regular edition. The physical version of Yokai Watch 5's first time in the series does not come with a packing bonus. Oh, no medal, no arc, no anything. Oh well. However, it includes a download code for Jibanian Omega, an overpowered version of Jibana that can be unlocked after the main story is finished. So kind of like a McCracken sort of thing, but also like a Jibanian S sort of, like a McCracken delivery method, but like a Jibanian S sort of reward. Launch edition. You can pre-order the game. It will be packaged with an art book called The Art of Yokai Watch 5, Tales from the Great Beyond Yan. The book featured concept art from Concept art and Consept Yokai would also be made available separately about a week later. The fact that it's not like completely exclusive, I guess it's nice because more people can get it, but it's also sad because it's not really exclusivity. But Yokai Watch concept art, I'd kill to see that. I mean, we do get like a lot of leaks of like Yokai Watch concept art. Like level 5 is pretty, chill with letting that stuff go. Unlike like stuff like Nintendo games getting concept art. We don't really get that as much. But even with Yokai Watch 5, like having that as a retail product, like the concept art for Yokai Watch 5, that would be like extremely cool. I would be 100% on board with getting something like that. But yeah, it would be great because we see concept art, but it's usually like final stage concept art. It usually looks pretty close to the final thing. So it would be nice to see like concept, especially for like new yokai that are being added in this game. They better be adding new yokai. Update. Since the first gameplay trailer, it was confirmed that the game would start with all 100k 10 yokai from the 4th game. Do you mean 180? Because there's around 700 yokai in total, around 800 I think. And Busters 2, which was like the game with the most, like not counting Wibble Wobble, but that's because of like a lot of crossover events and stuff. But I assume they made 180, which isn't a lot, but the fact that they're all coming back is pretty cool. But also that means Shadow Side yokai and stuff are coming back, which is pretty meh. Like, if this series is trying to get back to the roots, I'm pretty sure they should probably just get rid of Shadow Side entirely. Like, pretend it never happened. Leave that in 4. Don't bring it over to 5. Don't bring it over any Shadow Side yokai, because I kind of mess with the series a lot. As much as I love Shadow Side and Shadow Side yokai, it's time to move on from that level 5. I think we should, like, take mostly the yokai from, like, Busters. Like, a good chunk of those, and it'd be set plus the new yokai, right? Forget Busters yokai. Probably want to forget American yokai for the most part, with maybe a few exceptions, like Tom and Yan and Puppuccino, and, you know, all those, Obaga, maybe a few iconic ones. Cornfuse, of course. But, like, try to leave out the American yokai, of course, because you know how that goes. And of course, Shadow Side yokai have none. No Shadow Side yokai. None. As well as adding 50 new yokai. Good start. It will also be confirmed that level 5 will add 2 new yokai to the game a week from July 2nd, 2021 to July 2nd, 2022. This is the part of the concept I absolutely hate. Adding, like, DLC yokai, like adding yokai every week for a year, that's like 104 yokai. And adding them so gradually and adding them so frequently, I feel like that's the definition of drip feeding. And I'd rather have them in at launch or not at all, or maybe like even just like in a big update, like add like 20 yokai instead of like doing 100 or so. You know, like how Busters added a ton of new yokai. Per Busters and Yokai Watch 4, that brought with it a ton of new yokai. You could do something like that again if you really want to bring back new yokai. Of course, I'd rather have them at launch, but bringing them back would be pretty sweet as well. Anyway, definition of scummy, but level 5 isn't, you know, too foreign to that idea. September update. There's a rather large update in September 17th, 2021 that added the Infinite Inferno to a first game, as well as 10 new legendary yokai. However, this update will only be available to download for a week before new parts of Yokai Watch 5 came with it pre-installed. Infinite Inferno was kind of a lazy post-game thing that they did in the first 2 games, but I don't know if they did it in 3, I'm not exactly sure. But actually, I think they did. I don't remember. I just played it and I don't remember. But the Infinite Inferno would be like a cool new mode, like to add as like a post-game thing, as long as it's not like that's the whole post-game. Like, Yokai Watch 4 had like quite a bit to do in post-game. Like, there was the Enma Quest and stuff, and there was the Sumo mode, and then Busters, Busters later on. Like, then there were a ton of post-game quests. Like, there was a ton of post-game content, a lot to keep you there. Unlike the first game, the second game and the third game still had a lot of post-game content too, but the fourth game delivered pretty well. As long as the Infinite Inferno isn't like the only post-game, that would be like a nice little bonus. So anyway, that new update, that new print of Yokai Watch 5, coming in December of 2021, there will be a paid update to the game, similar to Yokai Watch 4 Plus expansion. It will be called Yokai Watch 5 Super Deluxe. Again, getting rid of the subtitle, which, Yokai Watch 5 Super Deluxe as a separate digital download and physical release, and will add many new features to the existing game. It will introduce new concepts to the game, including access to Shiuba District, a new multiplayer mode based on Yokai Watch Busters 3, and several new and returning yokai to befriend, as well as a new area added to St. Petersburg called West Acorn. Wow! Two new areas. So West Acorn and, what was the other one? Shibuya District. I don't know if that's like I don't know the translated name, so I don't know if that's like an area that already exists in Yokai Watch, but if it's a new area, that's pretty cool, as well as adding like West Acorn. Drop my phone. That would be like pretty cool. I mean, again, like They don't, as long as they don't over-Americanize everything, we're good. And it should do relatively well, but, I'd love to explore more of BBQ or the United States or St. Petersburg, whatever you want to call it. I mean, that's, of course, my North American, interpretation, especially because, Sakura Newtown was, used so much. Springdale, and it was, so Japanese, but then having an aggressively American town was, such a breath of fresh air, so I'd love to revisit it, so that would be great to see in a new game. Future updates. As of now, no new updates are confirmed to launch, but Level 5 did confirm that more Yokai Watch is on the way. That's where the article ends. Probably shouldn't have thrown that. Woo! That was a lot of talking to do. That was a nice discussion. I got to bounce off some of my ideas about Yokai Watch and what I think about the games, and also what the future could be. And we got to look at this amazing article. I'll have to look at who wrote it and credit it and whatever. If it even has it on there. I don't remember it being on there. Yeah, I don't see an author anywhere, but I'll link in the description. It's on the Fantendo Wiki. It will be the first one in the description. The ones below it will be a bunch of other ones that people submitted. That people made to Yokai Fan Wiki. I mean, Nintendo Fan Wiki. Anyway, that was fun. Let me know in the comments. I talked a lot about Yokai Watch 5 today, about possible ideas for a possible 5th game. Guys, let me know, what do you think of what they said? What do you think of what I said? What do you think you would want to see in Yokai Watch 5? If it ever happens. Probably not, or at least not for a while. Let me know in the comments below, and of course, I'll try to get back to making weekly content, or at least bi-weekly. And I'll upload little shorts and memes and stuff in between then at least, so there's some content at least every week. But again, that's it for this video. Again, comment any video ideas you'd like me to do, or the thoughts on Yokai Watch, the potential Yokai Watch 5. Anyway, that's it. I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye, my lonely watchers.